Maggie, thank you for being with me on New Mexico in Focus this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff.
So, President Joe Biden won the New Mexico Democratic primary in June, then dropped out of the race last weekend. That means his name won't be on the ballot in November. And that means Donald Trump automatically wins New Mexico, right?
No, that isn't how it's going to go. What folks don't necessarily realize is that, primary elections are nominations. And so, yes, Democrats in New Mexico voted in June in the primary election with Joe Biden's name at the top of the ticket. However, that vote, I think, much like the Electoral College and the general election, folks don't really realize that vote is to allocate delegates to the Democratic National Convention. The Democratic National Convention, which occurs next month in August, is when the ballot will be finalized for all 50 states, including New Mexico, in terms of which candidate is going to be the presidential candidate. And so, as we've seen these last several days, President Biden has declined to continue his campaign, has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. She immediately went about trying to get those delegates that had been pledged to President Biden for her campaign for president. And as we all know, within a very quick amount of time, had enough pledged delegates at the convention to secure the nomination. She is the likely nominee, but won't officially be the nominee until the completion of the Democratic National Convention.
Okay, and I want to unpack that in just a second, but to clear up one more thing, obviously I was joking to start the interview, but your office, Maggie, correct me if I'm wrong, your office does not need to fire up the polls and hold another primary election, right?
No, in fact, I mean, there's no provision for that in state law, but more importantly, there's no need for that because, again, this is a nomination process. And we haven't really seen this issue at the national level very often. I think the last time we saw something like this happen was in the 60s when, then sort of likely nominee Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was sadly assassinated and was ultimately replaced on the ballot by the Democratic National Convention. But here in New Mexico, many candidates who have sought a primary election nomination and won have then withdrawn after the primary election. And we do a mini version of that at the state level, where either the statewide Central Committee for the Democratic or Republican Party or the local, those members from that district get together and choose a nominee. In fact, we just had that happen with Senator Saya Correa Hemphill from Silver City, who withdrew after the primary election, and the local Central Committee members for the state Democratic Party from that district have selected a replacement candidate.
Gotcha. So where are y'all seeing some of these wild interpretations about where and how elections work?
Sadly, for years, we have been seeing just a tremendous amount of disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation about how the election process works. It was really, prevalent in 2020, and it's only grown incrementally. And now we're seeing it in such a huge wave, of course, in this presidential election year, all over social media, primarily. And so, unfortunately, or fortunately, a lot of folks get their information from social media. A lot of that information is factual, but a lot of it isn't. And so right away on Sunday, when we all heard that President Biden was withdrawing from the race, immediately we saw memes circulating around saying, these are the states that are past the ballot deadline, and New Mexico is included on that list. And I thought, oh, no, we need to get the factual information out there.
When is the ballot deadline, Maggie, for the record?
It's August 27th. So, there's plenty of time, for the Democrats to hold their convention and for them to certify that new nominee to our office.
Okay. We've known each other for a long time, and it seems to me that your job used to be simpler, if not easier. Most of what you did as Bernalillo County Clerk and now as Secretary of State was to administer elections. It seems that these days you spend a fair amount of time having conversations like this, in
Yeah.
which you have to beat back some of the mis and disinformation that you just talked about. From your
Right.
perspective, when and why did that really start to shift?
Well, as you'll remember, Jeff, from back in the days when I was a county clerk and you were at the Albuquerque Journal, I mean, there have always been rumors about election administration and that we've, occasionally had to quash. Back then it was a handful of folks. And, generally speaking, when rumors or problems arose, we were able to get the information out, the correct information pretty quickly to quash those rumors. Folks who continue to believe them, those were sort of like the bleeding edges on either side, depending on what the issue was that was being raised. Now such a tremendous percentage of the populace has been told for years to distrust our election process and has been fed so many lies and so much misinformation about the process that we're at a point where for those individuals who are so convinced, there's literally nothing we can show them or demonstrate to them that will change their mind. And so, I've always felt as an election administrator that my job is not just to run elections, but to make sure that public has accurate information, that there's a dialogue in civics and the voting process. I do feel like that is one of my roles. But to your point, it has become such a prevalent part of my job that I probably do, I think, spend the vast majority of my time and energy having these conversations to let people know, look, the reality is that there are people out there that want to sow seeds of doubt in the process, hoping that maybe the public will get so discouraged that they may not even participate. And that's truly unfortunate. That's not our democratic system. So it's incumbent upon me and my fellow election officials here in New Mexico and across the country to make sure that folks know where to get trusted and accurate information. And I'll say it right now, anybody who has a question about where, when, and how they can vote or how an election process works, don't go anywhere else but your Secretary of State or your local county clerk's office. That's where you are going to get that trusted, accurate information.
Maggie, you just answered my last question. I really, really appreciate the solid information and the conversation as always. Thanks for helping people not be led astray on election day.
And thank you so much, Jeff, too.
Thanks.